Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Six p.m.
6 p.m. tonight in Knoxville, Tennessee, Thompson Bowling Arena, where I've been many times.
Never been there. I like Knoxville.
It has improved.
Okay.
I went there a lot of times in the late 90s and early 2000s, and it was a hole. And the last time we went, it looked like they put some money into cleaning up their city. If you're in there's a downtown area, they're kind of, I don't want to call it party area, but I don't know what else to call it. But they got a lot of clubs and restaurants, and that's really nice, man. You get on the other side of the river, it can be
Where did we
very
stay?
sketchy. Where did we stay?
Franklin, maybe? I'm just making places
No,
up.
Franklin's south of Nashville.
Okay.
That's where I used to live. Where did we stay?
I'm sure our audience cares. Hey, it's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and it is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations, currently hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
Yes.
OB, so at this point of SEC play, can we figure out what the keys to the game are? I know that Tennessee is a very good rebounding team. They're a very good smash mouth team. What do you think tonight?
Tonight, I think A&M needs to shoot well from three-point range, right? I think they need to find a way to get to the foul line and actually shoot a high percentage. They got to force turnovers. They're going to get beat on the boards, but you want to minimize how bad you're going to get beat on the board. They're going to get beat. Tennessee is going to dominate the boards, but what you want to do, what you've done so effectively so far, is you want to pressure and push and do all those things and just make them and stay close. And then maybe in the last 10 minutes, like we saw with Oklahoma, you see a Tennessee team that's tired and fatigued, and you're able to exploit that.
Keep it close. I think I had the stat here. Tennessee, not the best free throw shooting team in the country. Where is it here? I think they're not too bad. They're shooting 68.6 from the line.
Good, not great.
Texas A&M on the year, 73.1.
But have been kind of up and down sometimes, like every team can be. You got to force the turnovers, man. You got to do that, and you've got to – hopefully they'll have a good night behind the arc. And if you don't, then the one guy they have that can really score inside, hopefully you can get some favorable matchups for Rashawn Agee.
You had a nice article yesterday, I think it was yesterday, on the depth that A&M has.
Yeah, right.
And both teams are pretty deep. Tennessee likes to play 10 deep as well. But for me, the thing that I found very interesting is that it looks like both teams have 11 players averaging double-digit minutes. And A&M uses all of those players. I mean, they come in and they're going to give it to you. Right,
which means that it's going to be harder to wear them down than it is some of the previous opponents. But that's still part of the A&M MO. Look, A&M's got to do what they do best. And what they do best, or what they aspire to do best, is shoot threes, force turnovers, and just defend you by interrupting the shot clock, all those things. If Tennessee is consistently going to be able to just dump the ball into the low post, A&M's going to have some problems.
Yep. Pop Isaac is going to play a major. He's been playing a major role in this streak right now. What is it? 5 straight games, double figures, and he's a guy you can rely on late in games.
He has been, ever since the SMU game, when he did have some big problems toward the end, and he made some big mistakes. But since then, I think he's now 5 games in a row in double figures. It looks like he's just finally gotten comfortable. Maybe not necessarily in his role, because he said the other day, he said, I'm not starting his first time like in my life.
Right.
I haven't started, but I think he's getting comfortable in his role, and he's showing what a good player he is. And he was also coming back from an injury, and maybe that took a little longer, not just physically, but mentally to get, to overcome that. And so, he looks like the player we hoped he would be.
Let's pontificate for a minute, shall we?
We shall. I thought that's what we were just doing.
Well, we're going to continue. How
Okay.
about it? Let's go deeper. What if A&M wins tonight?
If A&M wins tonight, I say, okay, look, I'll be the first to tell you. I'm enjoying what's going on. They've won 11 of 12, but more important, 3 in a row in SEC play. And I'm thinking, they may be a little better than we thought they would be, only because Bucky McMillan took over such a difficult situation. If they can win tonight, I'm going to start thinking, okay, these guys really could be an NCAA tournament team.
Yeah.
If you can win tonight, then I'm going to start believing it's not just a pie in the sky hope, but it's a real possibility.
See, I look at things, tonight's game, multiple ways. First off, I look at it as if you win, you graduate to legit contender for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Right? And not that you can start talking seeding by any stretch, because you got a long way to go, but all right, they've got 4, they need to win 6 more if they're able to do it, right? So if they don't win, the way I look at it is, depending on how they look, obviously, I'm like, well, you already got one that you weren't expected to get early on, so you weren't expected to get this
Auburn,
one.
yeah.
So you're okay. You're still fine.
I don't think a road loss to Tennessee sabotages what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
You're going to lose games in the SEC. The SEC champion is going to have 2 or 3 losses. I can tell you that right now. I mean, Texas just beat Alabama, which is a strong contender, in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
So you are going to have losses. So, like you said, depending on how it looks, as long as you don't lose like 30, and maybe even if you do, because it seems like Arkansas probably lost to Auburn by about 30, and I still think Arkansas is a championship contender. So even if you lose, you're okay. But it's kind of like, when we talk about football early games, and you say, it really doesn't do anything for you unless you lose.
Right.
Then you have big questions. I don't think this game really, other than being in the standings, has that much impact on how you're viewed unless you win. If you lose, you're supposed to lose to Tennessee in Knoxville. You're supposed to.
Right.
No one's going to hold that against you, or no one right-thinking person will. But if you go there and win, these guys could be in the tournament.
The other bit of news I wanted to talk about here in the intro is Bryce Anderson coming back.
Yeah.
And look, first off, I like the kid a lot. I like him a lot. When he's healthy, he's been a really nice player for Texas A&M. I'm glad that he's coming back because I like the kid, and I think it adds veteran leadership to a nice group already.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be a starter next year. I thought Ratcliffe played pretty well when he was hurt, and then they brought in the guy from Colorado, and you saw Dalton Brooks. But he might be. I'm not saying he won't be either. But even if he's not, experience, depth is never a bad thing, right? And again, I'm not saying that that's going to be his role, because if he does start, you have experience, depth in the form of other players. So, it's only a plus. And
then the other plus, C.J. Mims, after the show yesterday, announced that the North Carolina defensive tackle coming to A&M, 37 career games, 79 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks.
Yeah, and I just look at the career thing I don't care about, because that can be skewed. You're a freshman, it's career games, and typically you don't produce as much. Last year he had a pretty nice year. I think it was what I read, 42 tackles, 2.5 sacks for an interior lineman.
Yeah.
That's production. Again, I think doing everything you can to bolster that interior line and also that run defense. So, good move.
And we'll talk about it a little bit in the Performance of the Week in a little while. The Knockout Performer of the Week brought to you by TKO Equipment. We'll do that in the next segment. But beforehand, Texans, how about that fourth quarter?
I got to admit, I didn't see it.
Did you hear about it?
I heard, well.
Was it 30-6, Justin? Is that the final?
I tuned in late and saw them score a touchdown to go up like 23-6. And I thought, this is over. And then I guess I woke up this morning to find out. And I saw the one where the fumble and the number 60 picked it up. And Christian Kirk, I know, had a big game, which I was always a big fan of Christian Kirk. So I'm glad to see that.
So now the Texans will take on the Patriots. It's at the Broncos. Bills. Yeah. Josh Allen, a little nice game against the Jags. Saves their coach's job.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was a tough game for me because I like Josh Allen and I like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And I think Trevor Lawrence, I'm getting off track here a little bit, but just want to say this. I think Trevor Lawrence, the way he's been viewed, is a perfect example of how lazy and really, quite frankly, ridiculous the current media is, and that you're going to label somebody a bust because your team's not winning as a quarterback because his first player. Oh, what a bust. I heard that so many times. He's terrible. Look at what's not around the guy. Yeah. It's still a team game. And now, they put a little bit better personnel around him, and they dang near won. So I like Josh Allen a lot. Root for him.
The Texans are now advancing to their third straight divisional round game, and it's also the first time they've won a playoff game on the road.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been to a couple of those road playoff games.
Yeah, working it, huh? Good luck to them. Yeah. I'm not you know me, I'm very ambivalent about the Texans.
I don't think C.J. Stroud looked good at all. I mean,
really?
He had he had a couple turnovers.
I like him a lot, though.
He fumbled the ball 5 times.
Say that again?
He fumbled the ball 5 times, lost 2 of them.
And they still made him look good.
And he had a very bad interception. He had I guess it was a fumble interception. I don't know. It looked like an interception to me that I think they counted as a fumble.
I like DeMeco Ryans. As a Cowboys fan, I really am envious of the Texans and their head coach.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Like you mentioned, David, Christian Kirk had an amazing game. 8 receptions, 144 yards, and a touchdown. I would have to ask Kaylee, but I think that's his best game as a Texan.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hadn't he been hurt most of the year?
Yeah, he was hurt. But congratulations to the Texans. Let's open up the phone line, shall we?
Let's do.
Call us up on the Buppy's Catering and
Bartending
hotline 979-693-1150.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to do it that way.
Sometimes just do that. If you want to text the show, you can do that on the Catalyst Pure Performance text line. I took that one from you.
The PPE?
The PPE. Are you with me?
Yeah. I'm down with PPE.
The Catalyst Pure Performance text line. Where's the E?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Efficiency.
979-693-1150.
Energy. That's what it was.
Oh, energy, yeah.
Yeah, it was energy.
Let's go around the room, say hi to the people. We've already kind of heard from people, but let's say hi. Hi, Nick.
Hi, y'all.
What's up?
Oh, nothing. If you go to Luke Evangelist's Twitter, which I'm sure, but
he's blocked.
With the amount of tweet volume from Luke, this probably got lost on your timeline. But he did put out a graphic that's kind of helpful when it comes to the Aggies' road to the tournament, right? And he made 4 different categories: Protect Reed Arena, those are the home games; toss-up games; find a way to steal a few; and major upsets. He has the Tennessee game tonight in that major upset category. He says to get to the tournament, the Aggies need to win one of those 5 games. So, again, tall task.
What are the 5?
The 5 are Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas.
I don't think it's going to be Florida. They got a guy who's 12 feet tall.
They got like 4 7-footers or something like that.
That one dude is just like...
Yeah, he doesn't play a lot, but he's still 7'8". Or something like that, 7'9". It's crazy. Vanderbilt, surprisingly, looks like might even be the best team in the league.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt women too, by the way.
And hey, we know how well A&M's done. Where's that Arkansas game? Is it here or is it in Fayetteville?
Fayetteville, according to Justin.
Because they don't have a great history in Fayetteville.
No, they don't. Let's check in at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Justin Paez is there. Justin, ¿qué pasó?
I'm just so excited to be back, guys. Like, the break was, like, so...
oh, you were gone?
I was gone.
Oh,
yeah, but now I'm back. So, yeah, I'm excited to be back here. And
just messing with you, buddy.
There's a lot of good stuff. And I wanted to dive just briefly into Christian Kirk because I was going to start with how kind of poorly the Aggies played through the playoffs. And maybe not them particularly, but how their teams played, because we had 9 Aggies in the playoffs and only 2 remain. But Christian Kirk saved a lot because he had his career game in yards, his first 100-yard game since 2023. He had 144 receiving yards, while Aaron Rodgers only had 146 passing yards.
Hey, how about those Niners, huh?
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts real bad.
He's an Eagle. He and his mom are Eagles fans.
Oh, that's right.
Hey,
yeah.
we still got this sticker, by the way.
And there, yeah. What is it? What's that sticker?
40-22, February 9th, 2025.
Oh, so you live in the past. Gotcha.
If you want to do that, I mean, I got 5 Super Bowls to celebrate in my lifetime.
Well, but in this century.
Right.
In my lifetime. It doesn't mean I celebrated them any less.
Not in mine.
You know, it's interesting how Social Center people get real cocky when it comes to their sports teams that are like different than ours, and they feel like it's okay, like to come at us.
That's all right.
Is it?
I think the Eagles, with that loss, I think it signals a decline.
Yeah.
And I think that they've done this, and now I think they're starting to decline. Unfortunately, it's not the Cowboys that are going to be the team that's going to pass them. The question is, and I know we're going somewhere we don't need to be going, but not to discuss right now, but which NFC East team is poised to rise above the Eagles?
Weirdly enough, the Giants.
That's the team I think too. Jackson Dart's.
Darty party, yeah.
I stay on the NFL for a moment. How has your opinion of Caleb Williams changed this year?
I don't think it has.
You don't think it has?
I'd say this: he's doing well with good players around him. I think any. I mean, you knew he could throw the ball. I think he's still a spoiled brat. But hey, I'll say this: the Bears are having a heck of a year, and maybe, I mean, they're legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I don't think they'll win it.
I could see you and him having a lot in common. You paint your nails black too. You do all those things, so I see a lot of the similarities between you guys.
Yeah, I think. I don't think you'll ever see me in a nail salon.
No.
My wife's tried to get me to go get.
Okay, let's not talk about
it. What's that thing they do with your feet?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Olin's feet. Okay.
Where you go get a
pedicure.
But not. I guess that's. And I'm like, no, I'm
foot massage.
I would let somebody massage my feet.
Okay, let's just move on.
Why don't you do it for me,
bro? Wow. I'll vomit on the air.
Here, let me take my shoe off. These are nice shoes, by the way.
How do I get to 1775 from that, OB?
Well, you just put on your shoes. If you have to, walk that way. Walk, run, drive, do whatever it takes to get some of the best Texas barbecue you've ever experienced. I'm telling you about that succulent brisket, about that amazing jalapeno cheese sausage and the pork ribs that I love so much. I'm not even sure what my favorite thing is anymore because I ate some of that turkey when I was there with my son. I'm like, man, this is really good. And of course, you know what I had last night? A side dish for my dinner.
What's that? Oh, the queso mac and cheese leftover?
I had some queso mac and cheese leftover.
Little container?
Yeah, and it was spectacular.
Yeah.
It was spectacular.
Did you eat it cold or did you warm it up?
No, I warmed it up a little bit.
In the styrofoam?
It was in a little plastic.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, and it was tremendous. So, yeah, that's what I do. Put on those shoes. You might need to massage your feet after walking all the way there because you have to go a couple of miles past the airport and look to your left. You'd go. I can't tell you what it is. It's a big Texas A&M. I guess some kind of
the Rellis.
No, not the Rellis campus. But there's some kind of structure there, and I'm sure it has something to do with animals.
Yeah,
because it is A&M. So walk over there, get you some amazing barbecue, then head out and get a foot massage and talk about a great day. Couldn't have been any better.
979-492-6241. Check out the website, 1775txbbq.com. Taste it.
It's good.
Hey guys, David Nuño here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're still presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Time for the Knockout Performer of the Week, brought to you by TKO Equipment. Rent, seal, lease, or rent to buy TKO Equipment, which is your trusted source for used heavy equipment. OB, Who's going to be your performer of the week?
I may not have a good answer here because I can't remember exact numbers. But it seems like the guy I want to go with is Rashawn Agee.
That's who I have on here. Yep.
It seems like he's had like a double-double in each of the last, I think 4 of the last 5 games, but maybe double-doubles in both games this week. I know he was 16 and 12 against Oklahoma.
Yeah, 16, 12, 2 blocks, 2 seals, and 2 assists, and had a major bucket down the
Heck of an assist late.
Yeah.
That cross-court pass to Ruben Dominguez. So Rashawn Agee really stands out in my mind. He's playing great. What a great acquisition.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
He's good. He's very successful in court and on the court.
Yes, he is. Hey, I'm going to do one that we've heard a lot about this morning, and I'll let Justin read his stats. But Christian Kirk, as we discussed at the top of the show, that performance last night on Monday Night Football for the Texans, one of their biggest wins in franchise history, just the way that fourth quarter was, it was a lot closer game than that score would indicate, but the Texans took advantage of a lot of mistakes at the end.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It kind of flipped the switch when the defense got its first big takeaway. And Christian Kirk, he leveled up. And the thing is, this is actually not the most new thing for Christian Kirk. He's played in 4 playoff games in his NFL career and has had 9+ targets in all of them. So this was just a shock because we hadn't seen it this year because of injuries and whatnot, because it was his first game of the season with more than 5 catches. So this was new, but it was something so needed because C.J. Stroud was struggling. And then when that started breaking out, we saw Woody Marks start stepping up in the run game.
Yep. Do you have anybody you want to put on the Performer of the Week, the TKO knockout Performer of the Week?
You kind of talked about him already, or you did. Pop Isaacs. I think not only is he doing more with scoring and being that leader, but it's just the way he's handling the ball, the way he's moving it to his players. I think he is drawing defenses a lot more than he did earlier this season with, coming back from injury, getting acquainted with the team. But with no McKenzie, he's really stepped up as that kind of lead guy.
Yep. Obi, I'm going to throw one for our recruiting team.
Okay.
If you are not a premium subscriber, you're missing out. The
Performer of the Week, Ryan Broniger?
I was going to say the team, and most notably Ryan Broniger. Ryan's dealing with a lot of stuff right now, and he has kept our subscribers up to date on everything. The whole team has this, Billy included in this. They don't, when they have breaking news, they don't always go to press with it. They let the player go to press with it, like the Bryce Anderson stuff.
Right.
Bronny had that early, right? And we waited for it to be announced. So if you're not a premium subscriber, you're missing out because all this stuff that's happened, you basically know who's on campus, who's out, who's this, who's that throughout the process. And it's such an evolving storyline that Bronny does such a great job, the whole team.
They all do. Like you said, it's the team, but Broniger is kind of separating himself a little bit. I mean, Hal got married, but he's had this girlfriend for a long time. But Broniger's dealing with having a newborn baby. Lucci he's on top of everything, but he doesn't have a child, thank God.
Yeah.
I can imagine him calling me up at
Mr.
11
Lucci,
at night. Hey, can you go over and
give my kid the bottle?
No, Dolores Lucci is kind of, that's to her chagrin that he doesn't have kids, but in the infinite wisdom of the great Lord above,
how often would
Lucci has no children?
How often would Lucci's kid be tardy to school?
Every day of their lives.
It's third period, Mr. Lucci. Yeah. Hold on, I'm on the phone.
Yeah. Could you see a parent and the teacher call in for a parent-teacher conversation? And first of all, he shows up about 10 minutes later, and then she's trying to tell why little Lucci is having such a hard time. And Billy's like, what?
I got to break some news on Twitter. We love you, Billy. That's why we're saying that. Anyway, props to our recruiting team. They did such a wonderful job. Obi, we're about to go to Charean Williams. When we talk to Charean, it's usually like a good balance of NFL, college football. Where are we today with Charean? I think it's going to be more NFL.
Yeah, maybe I can ask her a Cowboys question too or something. But yeah, it's maybe we can ask her prediction for the national championship game.
Yeah.
I'm going out on a limb, and I predict.
Here we go. I know where he's going.
A Cuban is going to be celebrating a national champion, a prominent Cuban. And I don't mean anybody in the Castro family.
We're
and I don't mean David Nuño either.
No, I mean I'll win for my people, but not for my team is here. But yeah, either Cristobal
It's a great year for Cubans
or Fernando.
Yeah. I wonder how Frank Martin's team's doing up at. Isn't he at UMass?
Is he still coaching?
I think he's at
I
UMass.
love that guy. He was always
I
so
did too.
kind. Yeah,
He looked scary,
and he sounds scary.
but he was actually
Very nice
really
guy.
nice. I think he's at UMass.
Yeah.
I think Justin's looking it up.
I am.
Is he still at UMass? I think he's been there a couple years, right?
Yeah,
Frank Martin?
from South Carolina to UMass.
Yeah, see, I'm not even finding it. There's so many
Really?
Okay,
names
you don't know
here.
how to Google.
Yikes.
Your Googling ability. Just do Frank Martin basketball.
Yeah, now
This is. I want to put you on the spot now with all the audience to watch.
I'm really falling apart, guys. Yeah, he is still at UMass.
All right. We'll hit a break. We'll talk to Charean the Dream Williams on the other side. For insurance professionals and agency owners, Rollo Insurance is expanding their family of over 60 offices across Texas. Whether you're exploring career advancement or succession planning for your agency, their leadership team offers confidential conversations about joining forces, experience growth, while maintaining personal service for your clients that they expect. Rollo's acquisition approach respects the legacy you've built and the relationships you've cultivated with clients over the years, and the infrastructure provides technology, marketing, support, and expanded carrier access while preserving your agency's local identity. For producers seeking more independence, Rollo Insurance offers entrepreneurial pathways with stability of an established organization. You can learn more about professional opportunities at the Rollo Insurance Group by going to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. It is Rollo Insurance. And we're back. It is TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, joined by our dear friend Charean Williams, Pro Football Talk, Aggie, Hall of Famer, just in a Hall of Famer in many, many ways. Charean, good morning.
Good morning. How are we doing today?
We're good. We're good. So I think we got to start off with Christian Kirk. What a performance.
Yeah. Set the franchise record, 144 yards, 8 receptions, touchdown. He was the guy. I mean, especially after Nico Collins went out with his concussion, they're going to need him even more this next weekend in the divisional round against New England because Nico probably is going to get cleared from his concussion. I would find that hard to believe in 6 days, especially the way that he reacted to the concussion and the fact that he was carted off. I just don't see him coming back. So Christian probably will be the Texans' number one receiver this week. So he's got to make it happen again. But I think this is what they expected. Maybe not the 144 yards, but they expected to have a bigger impact than what he had in the regular season. And he just, was injured and had the hamstring issues early and just couldn't get it going. And then I think they saw the real Christian Kirk in this playoff game. And I saw on Twitter last night, everybody saying, oh, you need to re-sign this guy right now. And I think they do need to re-sign him, and I do think he needs to be on the roster next season.
I think Christian, when healthy, has been productive everywhere. I mean, I thought he had some good years in Jacksonville. Even there was a reason why Jacksonville gave him all that money to leave Arizona. Yeah. So with a healthy Christian Kirk, Charean, what do you foresee for the Texans moving forward in the playoffs?
They got a chance because of that defense. I think we saw it last night. Now they're going to play a better offense than they played last night. That offense is not good. And Stephen A., people who pick these games and, Stephen A., and I'm not picking on him, but he picked the Texans to lose by giving up 26 points to the Steelers. In what world were the Texans ever going to give up 26 points to the Steelers? Did you watch football this year? The Steelers offense struggled. The Texans defense, you can argue whether it's the Seahawks or the Texans, but those are the two best defenses in football. There was no world. They could have played 8 quarters, probably 12 quarters, and the Steelers would never have scored 26 points on the Texans. So that gives them a chance. And New England, it's going to be the best defense New England has played all year. They're going to struggle offensively against it. It is a better offense than the Steelers were. They will be able to score more than the 6 points the Steelers scored. They're going to have some offense. They're going to have to generate that. I mean, when you look at the 30-0, they got offense. Well, they scored 2 defensive touchdowns. They're not going to get that in every game. They're not going to get that this week. I would almost guarantee that. The offense has got to do more than what it did. They produced the yards. They had over 400 yards. They just couldn't turn that into points with the red zone interception and the mismanagement of the time at the end of the first half and missing some wide open receivers and turning the ball over, 2 other times besides the interception with the 2 fumbles. And you just can't do that. You've got to protect the ball. C.J. Stroud, to me, did not look comfortable. If he looks that uncomfortable, I don't like their chances to beat New England. I think it'll be a close game. I don't like their chances to win that game. But, he's got to play better, and that's the key. If he plays better with the defense they have, they got a chance to go all the way. There's no question about that.
Talking to Charean Williams here on TexAgs Live. Charean, what do you make of all those close games? You got the Rams beating the Panthers by 3, Bears over the Packers late, Bills over the Jags late, the 49ers beating the Eagles by 4. What did you make of all these close games, the parity playing out in the playoffs?
Yeah, and I think that's usually what we see in this round. I think we're probably not going to see in the next 4 games, probably games quite as good. I hope we do. 3 road teams won. I thought 4 would win, which is unusual. That's very unusual. I think that's more unusual than the close games were because the Packers, frankly, should have beaten the Bears, and you would have had the 4 road teams win. I thought the Packers would win that game, and so I thought there would be 4 road teams that would win, and Chargers were really not that competitive against the Patriots. I thought they'd have a better chance. But, yeah, I think that's what it is. In the past, you could look at, Patrick Mahomes is in the postseason and Tom Brady's in the postseason and, Peyton Manning's in the postseason. You're going to pick their team to advance to at least the championship game, if not win at all. Well, we don't have that this year. What quarterbacks do you trust in these playoffs who actually have the track record to say, this guy's done it, he very well could do it again. I think it's Matthew Stafford. I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, I wouldn't have even put Rodgers at his age in that category. So I think you're looking at Matthew Stafford was the one quarterback going in this playoff, which is why I like the Rams to win it all. And I still like the Rams to win it all because of the quarterback and his history of getting it done. So we'll see. There may be a quarterback who's never won a Super Bowl win a Super Bowl this year. And it very well may be one of these young quarterbacks, a Drake May or even a Sam Darnold, who's not quite as young as some of these other guys. But it very well could be one of these young quarterbacks who wins their first Super Bowl. And we're looking at them a little bit differently going into next season.
Charean, I think that close loss to the Niners by the Eagles signals that the Eagles are beginning a decline, much like the Cowboys when they lost to the Panthers in '96. Now, I don't think the Eagles are going to crash and burn like the Cowboys did, but I do think that begins to decline. Do you agree or disagree? And if so, which team in the NFC East do you think would be best equipped to be the team that will eventually pass up the Eagles?
Well, that's a problem. You look at the East, you're like, who else is there? That defense of the Eagles is really good. I think they need a new quarterback. I don't think they get a new quarterback, but I think they need a new quarterback. I don't think Jalen Hurts is it. Even though he won the Super Bowl last year, I know we're talking about quarterbacks. He's not one I trusted. He's not a guy going into postseason. I said, yeah, Jalen Hurts will get his team championship game because, he's that guy. I don't think he's that guy. I think he's good, and this is what C.J. Stroud needs to be. C.J. Stroud needs to be Jalen Hurts of last year, just good enough, not make the mistakes to let the defense win the game. And I think Jalen Hurts played better last year, but I don't know that Jalen Hurts is the guy. And if he's not the guy, can they keep holding on and being a contender every year? And I'm kind of with you that I don't think that's the case. I never thought the Eagles had a chance in this postseason, and they didn't. Turned out they didn't. So I do think they need to address the quarterback position, whether it's somebody to come in. They've done it before. They brought Jalen Hurts in when they didn't trust Wentz. And so do it again. Bring in another quarterback, whether it's Malik Willis or somebody else that you can get to challenge Jalen Hurts and maybe pass him as the quarterback. Maybe you draft a guy early in the draft. If you like a guy coming out of the draft you think can compete with him, do that. We've seen that many times on teams. We saw it with the Packers with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. But they got to do something to address that position. I don't know if they're going to win and do another Super Bowl. Maybe they keep winning the East because the East, I don't see a team right now, Olin, that is better than the Eagles in that division. And that's the problem. If you had a team that was better than the Eagles that, or, like last year, we were all talking about the Commanders, they got the championship game, but they've certainly taken a step back. So I don't know. It'll be interesting how this offseason plays out, who these teams end up with in free agency and the draft, and which teams get better. I do think that all three teams outside of the Eagles have a chance to improve themselves this offseason and have a chance to surpass the Eagles as the best team in the East. I even think the Giants have a chance with their defense is good. They've got some parts to build around there, and I think Jackson Dart, if he can stay healthy, has a chance to be a good quarterback in this league.
Charean, did Josh Allen save McDermott's job in Buffalo?
Yeah, I think he probably did. Now they get to the divisional round. I think they win this week. It's going to be a difficult challenge. It always is going on the road, but I do think they win this week and get back to the championship game, and they may be the best team in the AFC, but that defense really is a liability. It's going to take Josh Allen playing Superman for them to get to the Super Bowl and do what they need to do. But I think McDermott is back, and I think there was a good chance he was going to be gone if they had lost that game.
Who's the best offense in all the playoffs that's still left, and who's the best defense in all the playoffs still left?
You could say the Seahawks or the Texans. It's one of those two. I'm going with the Texans just because I've seen them more this year, and both of those defensive ends, those edge rushers, are unbelievable. Will Anderson, Myles Garrett is going to be the unanimous defensive player of the year. There's no question about that. But Will Anderson should be number 2 on almost everybody's ballot. He was number 2 on my ballot. We're not supposed to reel our ballots, but I'm just Myles Garrett is. Everybody had Myles Garrett at number 1. If they didn't, they need to lose their votes. But Will Anderson was that good. Danielle Hunter also was on my ballot for defensive MVP. He was that good. And then you have Derek Stingley. He could have been on the MVP ballot. I just think they have more real, true playmakers than the Seahawks have. Like guys who are at the top of the top that you go, yeah, I want that guy on my defense. The Seahawks play very well together as a team. They're very good. They will give themselves a chance in every game. And it's the same thing we talked about with C.J. Stroud is the same thing you say about Sam Darnold. Don't turn the ball over. Don't do stupid stuff. And you will win the game because your defense is that good. But I'm going with the Texans.
Best offense, Bears? Bills? Niners?
Oh, that's a hard. I guess I'm with you. I guess I do go the Bears. Bears offense is good. I don't know. The Rams with Puka. Puka's another guy. He's on my MVP ballot. Puka's on my MVP ballot because I just think he was that good. You know, Stafford's obviously on the ballot as well. But those two guys are just so good together, and they can run the ball with Charean Williams. I'd probably go the Rams.
Okay.
I'd probably go the Rams as the best. I think the Rams are the best overall team. Not counting special, they are the worst special teams team. Awful. So if you're going all 3 phases, maybe they're not that. They're awful at special teams. But if you're talking offense and defense, the Rams are the most well-rounded team on offense and defense, which is why I like them going into this postseason, even though they were on the road and going to be on the road every single week. I just think they're the best. Every other team, you look at them, and they have a deficiency that could cost them. Now, the Rams' special teams could cost them. Make no mistake about that. But if we're talking offense and defense, I don't think they have a weakness, and I think these other teams certainly have a weakness.
Charean, to close out Aggies in the NFL, a lot of Aggies are no longer playing, unfortunately, after this weekend.
Yeah, I just think it was Christian Kirk was the one. I went and looked, and there's nobody else, honestly, to really talk about. Edwin Cooper got hurt in his game, and Nick Scorton had a fairly decent game for the Panthers. They didn't come out on top. But it's all about Christian Kirk and what he did. And last night was just an amazing performance by him, career high for him, and set the team franchise record in the postseason. So it's all about Christian Kirk, I think, today.
Charean, great work as always. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
The great Charean Williams on the
Love
Buccaneers.
talking football with her.
Yeah, she's the best. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a short final segment here on the Go Hour. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, Caldwell Country Chevrolet is stocking up on all their vehicles all the time. Their inventory is constantly growing, and they are south of those big city deals. That's right. That's what they do. They're locally owned. They have an Aggie alumni team. They're ready to roll out the red carpet for you. And they have value. Every trade-in is going to come with some really good value, guys. When you go there, you're going to get excellent trade-in value for your vehicle, and you're going to get great customer service, and that comes with free oil change for life. Pre-owned inventory moving fast, which means you get top dollar for that trade-in. About a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryant, to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. OB, you're already making opinions on, minor opinions, right, on what teams could look like next year?
Yeah, I'm just, here in the next couple of weeks, I will really dive into what teams lost in the going to the draft,
the portal.
Teams the portal, just completion of eligibility, and when what they bring in. But I was just looking off the top of my head. I'm thinking Alabama looks like they could really have a tough year next year, because when you look at all the players they're losing in the portal, and I think a guy just left that they're excited about just left for Texas in the portal. So it looks like they're getting hit really hard in the portal and not able to restock as well. Plus, they weren't that great this year anyway. And then their quarterback, who I have to assume he was better than the guy who was going to replace him, because he's going into the draft. And so just off the top of my head right now, I'm thinking, man, could it be a 7-5 year for Alabama?
Have you looked at their schedule?
Yeah, and it's
an SEC schedule, obviously.
But and if it is, who would be their coach in 27?
If they go 7-5, they'd fire Caleb no matter what, right?
So.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they'd probably tar and feather him too, because they get kind of crazy.
They do. I'm looking at their schedule. At Kentucky,
they're going to win that.
Well, East Carolina win. At Kentucky, versus Florida State, the rematch.
They probably win that.
Okay. South Carolina in Tuscaloosa.
I'm going to give them that win in Tuscaloosa. I got them 4-0 already.
At Mississippi State. Uh-oh.
It's never easy at Mississippi State, but Alabama should always beat Mississippi State, so they're 5-0.
They host Georgia.
Georgia's going to win 5-1.
At Tennessee.
Let's see who's quarterback in Tennessee, but on the road, I can see them losing that.
5-2. A&M.
Of course, the Aggies.
5-3. At LSU.
I'm thinking that LSU I'm probably taking.
5-4. At Vanderbilt. No Diego Pavia.
Barkley. Yeah, but they got some five-star quarterback from Georgia. We'll see. I'm going to take Vanderbilt at home.
5-5. If they lose 5 in a row, he's fired during that stretch.
Probably.
Versus Chattanooga.
They're going to win that one.
6-5 versus Auburn at Tuscaloosa.
Probably win that one, because Auburn looks like they're having even more trouble keeping guys around. 7-5, 8-4, 7-5, 7-6. I just learned that the whole 7-6 thing.
Yeah,
so I'm doing it all the time. Even when it's not even 7-6, I do it.
That's so 2025.
That's so, yeah, I'm so 1900.
Does 8-4 get him fired?
Probably.
9-3 get him fired? No playoffs?
Maybe there.
Yeah. All right, Obi, thank you, buddy.
Yep.
When we come back on TexAgs Live, Josh Pate. Pate State next here on the show. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for our weekly conversation with our good friend Josh Pate, brought to you by our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Mr. Pate's there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. What's up, buddy?
I'm in a fight right now that I really don't think I need to be in. But you know how sometimes you log in the morning, which is your first mistake, David, and you log in on social and you just see something. So the something that I saw this morning is this guy. We're going to call him Big Ron because that's the name he goes by.
Okay.
He said sideline reporters are almost useless. That's a popular thing that a lot of people just like to say. And I do understand the sentiment because a lot of times you get these redundant questions and redundant answers and you feel like your time's been wasted. I think sideline reporters just in the playoff, this past playoff, have been pretty critical because I remember like 3 or 4 different big instances where injuries had happened that we got critical updates on. So like that's what I replied with. I said in the playoff alone, sideline reporters have been critical for relaying information. And at that point, David, there was a waterfall of replies of people that just have nothing to do today and just feel like talking to hear themselves talk. So that's how my morning is going. It's a very first world problem, I will admit to you, but this is what happens when the season slows down and we only have 1 game left. This is what my life becomes. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to point out something that I think that you're really good at. Billy's really good at. I'm not. You're good at engaging and you'll give it back. I want to fight everybody on Twitter. So I don't go to the mean streets of Twitter anymore. Like during the season I do, but I'm out. I haven't tweeted. I think I've only replied to 1 or 2 like since the Aggies lost. So I'm out because like I know me and it's not worth my mental health because I just don't like mean people.
I can't believe how look, for lack of a better term, stupid some people are on issues. Like there's a lot I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. There's a lot I don't know about football. There's especially a lot I don't know about life. I like to think I'm at least smart enough to know what I don't know and just tap out. Like there's some conversations you look at and you say, I don't think my opinion is needed on this. I just don't think that's a skill that's being hammered home in the public education system right now because everyone's kind of got something to say about everything.
Hey, I want you to say something about something. Let's talk about both coaches and how they've built their programs and how they've done it. Cignetti, this 2-year just amazing run, like no longer a Cinderella story, right? Like he's gone from the season, he's gone from a somewhat of a Cinderella story to the juggernaut, all in the same kind of 12 games, 15 games. Last year it was fun, it was a schedule thing. This year it's just domination.
Yeah, this forced me to rethink how I define a Cinderella. The other day, I think it was on the Sunday show, someone asked us in our mailbag segment, how can you say this is not a Cinderella? Because I think a couple of years ago when the playoff expanded, I said to someone, all right, so let me back up because this is really discombobulated. Someone made the argument to me 2 years ago, since we're expanding the playoff, that gives more room for a Cinderella team. And I said, no, it's the opposite. You just extinguished any last optimism that you could ever have that there would be a Cinderella team. Like Cincinnati in 2020 or whenever, that was your biggest hope at a Cinderella team because they'd only have to win 2 games. So we fast forward to 2025 and Indiana's making a run and someone came at me and said, hey, you were wrong. Look, here's a Cinderella team. So I thought about it and I arrived at the conclusion, I don't think Indiana is a Cinderella at all. It's just this really, really, really improbable story. So the guy says, all right, how is that not a Cinderella? And I said, well, to me in college football, a Cinderella team in the modern age would be a have-not making a run to at least play for the national title, if not winning the national title. Indiana, let me be very clear about this, is not a have-not anymore. They're a has-not. They've never done it. But if you're in the Big Ten or in the SEC, just from the media rights pool alone that you get access to, you're breathing like 90th percentile air, if not more, if not higher. So just take the quarterback position. And this is not a knock on Indiana. It's a huge supreme compliment to Indiana. But take the quarterback position alone. They're not where they are this year without Fernando Mendoza. Don't have to go any further than that. They're not where they are without him. They're paying him, I think, $2.5 million this year, which is a bargain, first off. But still, $2.5 million, as you know, David, is higher than the payroll of just about any G5 team in totality in the country. So the Cinderella story would be if Cignetti was still at James Madison and he took James Madison to the national title game. That's a Cinderella run. This is just a great story. So now that they're there, it's led to this whole other conversation that I've been having. And you got to kind of be careful about it, because if you're not careful, it sounds like you're disrespecting or making light of their accomplishments. None of that. You and I could spend our entire 20 minutes today complimenting Curt Cignetti. And I'm not actually doing anything other than that now. I think what he's done, and it's very beneficial to college football, is he has shined a really, really white-hot spotlight on some of the stuff that has always mattered, and he's proven it still matters. And that's continuity, that's cohesion, that's synergy, that's team building, that's experience in the same system, by the way, not just being old, but being experienced and developed in the same system. All that stuff, for some reason, people got fooled into thinking didn't matter so much anymore. In the portal era, just go get a bunch of talent and you'll win. And I guess, in a way, if everyone was doing that, someone would win with that approach by default every year. This year, Indiana happens to be in the equation, and you're not winning with that approach. They disemboweled Alabama and Oregon, two teams that, talent rating assessment would lead you to believe have more talented rosters than Indiana, which they do, but didn't matter because they weren't as good a team as Indiana. So I have a lot of appreciation for A, how Cignetti's done it, and B, that he's done it, because now a lot of people, instead of looking elsewhere, are looking at Indiana. Imagine that in 2026, a lot of the big boys are looking at the Indiana model. What can we learn from Indiana? Which is a wild concept, but I think it's a net positive for the sport.
Well, and also, and I want to talk about Miami here in a second, but Curt, he called his shot. That does not happen typically. Hey, I know how to win. Google me, right? Whatever he said in that opening line, and it's very rare. And he's also, I don't want to say humble, because he's not humble, but it's not a cockiness. It's a belief in the system. I know what to do. This works.
Yeah, it's the kind of confidence. It doesn't have to be quiet confidence. It can be loud confidence, but it's the confidence you have when you know the ending. If you've already seen a movie, if we're watching Titanic, you've seen it before. I'm watching it for the first time. So let's pretend I don't know history. And I'm watching the movie for the first time, and they hit that iceberg, and I'm like, everything seems okay. And you're sitting over there saying, nope, it's not okay. You'll see. Well, you're not cocky. You're just very, very confident that you already know the outcome. He's kind of talked about this like it's a movie that he already knows the ending to, which we're not used to, because sports is not supposed to work that way. It's supposed to be really unpredictable, supposed to be really random. When you look in the future, it's just supposed to be this horizon of fog, and no one can see through it. But when you focus on what he focuses on, which is, I'm really confident in my value system, the principles of my organization, everything you used to hear Nick Saban say. He's like a robot. He's like a carbon copy of him with the volume turned up to 15. If you believe in all that stuff, it's still not guaranteed an outcome, at least, but you're really, really comfortable that we're heading in the right direction. I don't need to look at the compass every 2 seconds. I know we're headed in the right direction. And at that point, you're just comfortable with what the outcome's going to be. By the way, he hasn't necessarily run around yelling, hey, we're going to win a national title. Hey, guess what? We're going to win a national title. But what he has guaranteed is we're going to win a lot, and we're going to do it a certain way, and it's going to work. So I don't even care what the outcome is next week relative to that. He's already been proven pretty prophetic on that front.
And then on the Miami side, Cristobal, he came in with a lot of hype and resume. It took Miami a little bit slower to get to this, but he has been consistent with the way he wanted to build that program, and it has come to fruition. And in fact, he wanted to build in the image of the SEC. He's beyond that now.
Yeah. There was a long time when he first got there, because remember, when he first got there, they lost to Middle Tennessee State at home. They lost to Duke at home. Those were the games they were losing. So, you've got a lot of people who just don't like the University of Miami, who are always going to root for their demise. The same thing exists for A&M. It exists for USC. It exists for Ohio State. So that crowd is looking for any reason to take shots at someone who's been hyped up. So Mario got hyped up. They don't win immediately. People start taking shots. They start saying he can't do this, he can't do that. And then there were some terrible in-game decisions made over the course of a few years that then give credence seemingly to the concept that, oh, he's just a recruiter. He's not a coach. He can't do this. He can't do that. Again, can't. And my take on that, as you know, because I said it on this show several times, was there's a big difference between cannot and have not. And I just thought Mario was in the have not camp. But that didn't mean he didn't need to adjust. So I think he has. Like, if you look at the way they make in-game decisions, when's the last time you were watching a Miami game this year and you said, wow, they just fantastically botched the operational aspect of this game? No one's saying it. They're not saying it because adjustments were made. Now, that's not as simple as let's go hire a coordinator. Let's go get a portal quarterback. Those solutions are obvious. Everyone can see those. The changes that you make to delegate responsibility or to, reassign the way your organization flows, that's a little more nuanced. It's not nearly as sexy, but it pays dividends in seasons like you're seeing right now. And so, I still look at them and I still think there's a lot of misunderstanding about how far that place has come, because it wasn't an overnight thing. And the thing I respected about Mario is I remember, I think it was 23. I was down there. I've told this story a couple of times, but I was down there. It was a spring, and I was in his office, and he had to do, like one of those weekly hits. He had like a local radio hit. So I'm in there, and he says, hey, can I do this right quick? He does about a 10-minute radio hit. And the host was asking him, like, what does it take to get the U back? When is the U going to be back? And he answered it, like, really diplomatically. And then afterwards, man, he's so angry when he gets off the phone, because you can tell he's been asked that question a million times. He said, I'm so tired of people down here asking me, when is the U going to be back? Because we can't bring the U back. Because the blueprint and the formula that worked in the 80s and 90s just doesn't work. It's not feasible in college football any longer. So I'm not worried or focused on getting the U back. We're focused on defining what the U will be. And the longer you cling to the past, the longer you prevent yourself from moving forward. And he's, to his credit, he said, that's not the way we think in the building at all. But kind of galvanizing our fan base and our community and our donor class into understanding that vision, that's been an effort. So you got the effort of building the program. You also have the effort of sort of redefining the values and principles of the entire organization and the entire operation. Well, this is sort of a manifestation of that. Like, if you look at them this upcoming Monday night, they're playing in a national title game. They're doing it in the exact way that you would have thought 4 years ago a Mario Cristobal team would look. They feel the exact same way that you would have thought. They haven't done it in a way that surprises anyone necessarily. It may just be a surprise that they're there. So it just goes to show you, David, there's some places you really can turn it around in a year or two. There's some places it takes 3 or 4 years. As long as you get to that ultimate, I would say destination. It's not a finish line, but as long as you get to that level, you've been a success.
Josh, I know you're a college football purist. Just would you like to see the SEC, and that's even being discussed, get back to divisions?
Yes, I would. I think it makes the world make a lot more sense. But I also wish that we didn't have conferences as bloated as they are right now. And I know we're not going backwards on that. I understand we're probably only going forwards. The thing I think is, if you were to sort of recompartmentalize things, David, maybe instead of a 2, you're headed towards a pod system to where you go 4-4-4-4 or 5-5-5-5. I don't know how big the conference is going to get, but some way to add balance both in scheduling and in standings, to where you don't end up with these weird looking situations, not just in the SEC, but I mean, the ACC famously had a terrible situation this past year. Now, you can solve that to the playoff extent just by redefining your tiebreaker system. But I think about it from a scheduling perspective more so than anything, because it is insane, team to team, how vast the disparity in strength of schedule is year to year, or how much it could be year to year. And I'm not even talking about what it looks like in the preseason, because you could make the argument, well, you don't really know anything in the preseason. You need to judge that after the season. Okay, let's judge it after the season. Look at who A has played. Look at who B has played. And you really tell me they went through the same minefield to get to the finish line. Because conditionally, it's nowhere close in some cases.
And being the purist that you are, I know that you weren't in favor of expanding the playoffs. Now we've got the Heather Dennis report that the Big Ten wants to move to 16, then eventually 24. The SEC is keeping their cards close, and they're not really interested in that right now. How does it play out, you think, over the next year and then maybe 5 years?
That's pathetic to read that headline. I saw it the other day. It wasn't breaking news. It didn't shock me or anything like that. That's been the talk for a little while. Everyone who's watching right now has driven a rental car before, I assume. Just like I do, there's a different way you care for a rental car than your car. A lot of people who make these proposals feel like they are renting college football. That's really how it feels. Like it's not their concern what long-term damage it does to the sport because they won't be here. And I hate that those voices are given oxygen. I hate that those voices have any kind of decision-making power or authority or whatever. I hate it for a lot of reasons. We've rehashed them a million times. Everyone knows the respective arguments on pro and anti-expansion. But I will say this. For the time being, I hope the reporting is right that the SEC and the Big Ten are not seeing eye to eye on this, because the net result of that is we just stay where we are right now. And where we are right now is not a bad spot. And I was on, I can't remember what, it was Get Up. Well, we were doing Get Up the other day, and Louis Riddick and I had a disagreement on this. And I don't like disagreeing with Louis Riddick generally because that means I'm probably wrong. But on this particular topic, what Louis's stance was I can't help but look at a Texas or a Vanderbilt or a Notre Dame and think they could have made the run Miami's making, which means the playoff's not big enough. Because if you're leaving teams out that could have made a run, then that means they deserve to be in. Well, I look at it total opposite way. I look at it and say, you don't build the playoff to be big enough for everyone who's capable of making a run to get in. You build the playoff no bigger than it can be and not detrimentally impact the regular season. It's not about potential to me. It's about merit. And if you've lost, like in Miami's may win the national title next Monday night. Had they been left out of the playoff, I would have disagreed with it, but I wouldn't be up in arms about it because they lost 2 games in the regular season to ACC schools. So if you don't make it in, you don't make it in. Like, do better next year. For all I know, Texas would have gotten red hot and made a run, but they lost 3 games. So suck it up and do better next year. People being mad at the end of the season is not proof that the system is screwed up. It's just proof that there's a very, very valuable commodity you have in terms of playoff spots because there aren't many of them. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. The bad thing is when no one's upset because everyone got in, because that means you've deteriorated the value of whatever that commodity is.
To close out, will they fix, if they stay at 12, the Tulane, James Madison portion of it, or do you think it's still you still have to include those conferences in this tournament?
I think they'll have a spot for a G5 team. I do think they'll close that loophole twofold. So, number one, I think if they just fix their tiebreaker system in conference play, that'll do it. Because if you fix your conference tiebreaker situation, you don't have Duke playing for the ACC championship. You got Miami in there, and they probably go win it. And so they get in like they just got in. The difference is they'd get in as one of the 5 highest-ranked conference champs. So you don't have to change the G5 ruling or G5 wording at all. You're going to have one spot for them, and if you have your conference tiebreaker situation in order, that's the most they'll ever get anyway. And that's that. You don't have to overthink the room on this.
Josh, great stuff, man. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Appreciate it, David.
Talk to you soon. Josh Pate there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. Katy Lee, I believe, is in the studio. Is she here already, Nick? Awesome. Is that a no? Yeah, that's a yes. Okay. We'll hit a break, and we'll talk to Katy Lee a little women's basketball. Right now, farming and ranching families think differently. It's not working for today, but it's building for the generations to come, and that's why Heritage Films created Farm and Ranch Films. They've documented timber operations in Washington, cattle ranches in Texas, and agricultural legacies across America. These aren't simply documentaries, they're cinematic time capsules, and I'm telling you, your family's going to really cherish these moments. Heritage Films tells people stories, they tell the family ranch stories, they tell the family business story, and this is something for the future generations they can lean back on, learn about the origin story, and really apply it to their future generations. It is yourheritagefilm.com, the website, where you get to learn all about these awesome 2-hour documentaries. Chance McClain is the man who does it all, and he is amazing. Yourheritagefilm.com, or call him up 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. A little Aggie women's basketball to talk about. They suffered a bad one this past weekend against Vanderbilt, and it did expose some critical issues. So let's see if they can rally back with a very difficult SEC stretch coming up. Katy Lee, the former player, and of course the analyst, joining us to break it all down.
Hello.
How much can we read into what happened this weekend?
As much as you want. Okay. I mean, I think it's an honest look at where we're at right now against a top 10 team.
Okay.
I don't think it writes our pathway.
Sure.
So I think you can look at it how you want to take it. I think there's a lot of exposure of individuals that need to step up. So I think there's that. Mm-hmm. I think they're realizing when you're facing a lot of these top 10, top 25 opponents, Nye and Fats can't do it alone. Right. And so it's going to require a team. And then I think it just gives them an opportunity with, 7 days from game to game for them to go work on those things that they really need to see in the film room.
So in the shadow of the 40-point loss,
yep.
If you just take a step back, detach yourself from that moment.
Yeah.
This has been a really good start to the season. I know that's looming, but I mean, it has felt different than the last couple of years.
Well, it's felt different because the young ladies are pleasant to be around. Like, they're good people, and they really resemble what being an Aggie is all about. And I'll say that's been hard to capture in the world of NIL. Because A&M's a really unique place, and you have to really buy in to be here. Joni and her staff have worked really hard on trying to create an ethos around those people, around a certain type of person that really believes in being here, working hard to be here, that's not driven on the dollar, right? And like somebody that just, they're really driven by goals on the hardwood. Yeah. And I think that's what you're seeing in a lot of these young ladies. That being said, there's a lot of work to do. We're not a top 25 team. I think our net's somewhere in the 60s right now, maybe 70s after this last loss. But it's, there's room for growth. I think Nye is showing her worth. Really, truly, she is.
All year she has.
Yeah. Fats is one of those that is, she is producing huge numbers for her size. She's not, I think people don't realize how big how little she is in comparative to the bigs that she's going up against.
Right.
She's going against 6'4", 6'5" all day, every day. But yeah, this loss was bad. I mean, it was a bad one. They had three young ladies for Vandy that outscored our entire team.
Wow. So you brought up something about NIL.
Yeah.
In women's basketball, they're not making the money that these football players are making.
Not even close.
So I almost feel like, why is it such a big part of it when it's not generational wealth? It's more,
right.
And not that you can get inside a head of, but they have advisors, they have people all around them.
Yeah. I think sometimes women's basketball forgets, and let me put it this way. Women's sports in general are at a huge disadvantage when it comes to NIL as compared to men's sports, but you got to look at it as a ratio. They also don't produce the revenue that the men's sports produce, right? So there's a little bit of that. I'm not going to get into the political side of that because that's not my place. But what I will say is that with production, with the right people and better outcomes, produce greater visibility then produces bigger dollar signs, right? And so it's hard to get from step 1 to step 2. It's much easier to get from step 3 to step 2 to step 3.
Right.
So that's what Joni and staff are trying to do right now. Is they're trying to get from step 1, get the right core of young ladies here to get the production. And then once the production starts hitting, then you start seeing value. And so, she's in the midst of step 1 right now and getting to step 2. And I think you'll start seeing, as better results come out of the pipeline, you'll start seeing dollar signs follow.
For those who don't know, how's Lauren Ware doing?
I don't have a clear update, so I can't comment on that, unfortunately.
It was her knee that she hurt, was it?
Yeah, just a little tweak, but I think she's okay. I think, again, it goes back into really preserving her and her body. Do you send her out against a number 7 Vandy and have her just wear and tear more and more? Or do you take the L as it's written?
Right.
And I think you take the L. So that's more about preserving the person. They've got a gauntlet. Next 4 out of 5 games are top 25 teams. So when you're looking ahead, you look at how do you keep her the healthiest and the best in the present body she has.
So how do they survive? And when I say survive, it could have a different definition of what you think it is. But this is going to be a really hard stretch.
Oh, yeah. Perseverance is key, right? I mean, you got to understand that unfortunately, you're expected to lose. Are they going to walk into those games and take the L? Absolutely not. This team is not molded like that. Neither is Joni and her staff. So I think for them, it's about one game at a time. It's about understanding that the game of basketball is a roller coaster. No matter if you're the number 1 and 2 team in the country and you're playing each other, it's going to be a roller coaster game. There's going to be highs and lows. That's why they say you got to play all 40 minutes, right? Like you've got to actually finish the game and put your best product on the floor. And I think that's really key. But I all you can do is, if you do get down, is start chipping away, right? And it's 1 minute, 1 quarter, 1 half at a time. And you just got to look at it that way. I mean, I have been in this position. My freshman year, we came in, my class was Coach Blair's first recruiting class. We came in from a season prior of a 1-15 team in the Big 12, right? And you go, how do you rewrite the history books? How do you rewrite what that program looks like? And that first year we went, in the South Big 12, 5 out of the 6 teams were in the top 15 in the country, right? We got our butts whooped. Right. But we finished 7th in the conference. So you can do the math, right? So you go, okay, we're chipping away. Well, the next year we get runner-up in conference. And then the next year we go get a conference championship. And then the next year we go get a conference tournament championship. So it's not like you're building a program, right? You're not going to sprint and change it magically overnight.
How do you do that, though, in today's world where you're not guaranteed
a 4-year player?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't envy the coaches nowadays. Yeah. Logan and I think, got out when it was most appropriate for us because it's a funny world. Yeah. The NIL world is a funny world. One of my best friends who I graduated high school with just got the head football coaching job at Oklahoma State. And I visited, we were both in shallow water over Christmas and visited with him. And even the world and the pathway that he's navigating as, coming into a suffering program and trying to build that up is, he's not immune to the same issues that they're dealing with from an NIL standpoint. It's just bigger numbers, right? They're apples to oranges. It's a fruit. It's just a different fruit. So it's just a hard world to live in right now when it comes to student athletes.
So Katy, I'm not asking for a win total, but what needs to happen over this stretch, right? If it is a win total, if it's just the style of basketball, if it's cutting down turnovers, way too many against Vandy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What has to happen over these next 5 games?
So I'm going to look at it from like a business standpoint, right? Because you can't go out and project wins and losses against 4 out of your 5 being top 25 teams. Well, you can go and you can predict KPIs, right? You can set those key performance indicators that are saying, okay, this is our statistical average. We got to stay in a plus minus of this, right? To have a chance at surviving. We got to do this. Okay. And then let's move on to the next thing. Then we've got to stay within these parameters of this. And I think that's where they're at right now. They're in those checks and balances of team and individual performance, not necessarily. And Joni said it best post game. She goes, this is a time to work on us. I can't help the product that's walking on the court that I'm playing against, but I can work on us. And that's what we're going to do. And so I look at that as like, it's almost that business style of setting up these parameters around KPIs that you're going, okay, this is where I have to be to give ourselves a chance. It's going to start with Nye, right? And I will say this, and I'm going to say this publicly, and people may or may not like it, and the coaches may or may not like it. If Nye is going to have a chance to run this team, her guards have to elevate. Yeah. Right? She can't do it alone. Her guards could not get open in this past game. They did not help her out. And it's hard to hear that. It's hard to say that because I want to be in the best corner behind women's basketball. Sure. But Nye last game was a one-person performer outside in the guard position, right? So if the guards, the 4 or 5 of them that are going to see playing time, they have to elevate themselves. They have to be a threat. They have to help Nye out, period, if they're going to stand a chance. Nye can't do it alone. And if she picks up 2 fouls in the first quarter, that serves as a real issue.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
We'll hit a break here. We'll come back. Trey Wallace of Outkick. We'll talk a little college football, that and more. It's TexAgs Live. I see Trey Wallace moving his head to old school Kanye when we all, most of us like them. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, Buppy's Catering, Bartending Hotline. What's up, Trey?
Hey, brother. I mean, come on, man. You're going to give me intro music like that. I might as well dab the head a little bit. We're good.
Yeah, those were some good times in the hip-hop community. Hey, first off, I'm sorry we're late to you. We had a late break, but a lot has happened since we last spoke. We spoke, I think, a week before the Texas game.
Yeah.
And from an A&M perspective, things changed quite a bit over those next 8 quarters. And from a college football perspective, I don't know if we would have been surprised of Indiana making the championship, but certainly surprised that Miami made it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that where we were at, I mean, even following the loss to SMU, we're like, oh, okay, all right. Mario Cristobal strikes out again. And then all of a sudden, you know, they put together this nice little run. And you've also, you know, had the CFP committee kind of dangling Notre Dame out there for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, bam, on the last weekend, it's like, oh, sorry, Notre Dame, we're going to use that win that the Hurricanes had against you now, and you're out. And so I you know, to me, Miami, I talked about this with some other folks going into the A&M game. They have a ferocious defense, man. That front seven is nasty, and they have proven that. I mean, 17 sacks over 3 games. Good Lord. So, yeah, man, I mean, everything changes in this sport, and somebody can get on a run, and that's what we are seeing right now. And we're seeing teams that, you know, you got to win now. You know, that's the thing. You can't win 3 years from now. You know, building a program is no longer a situation, I think. And so the times that we are in, and Miami's going to play for a national championship, and I have a feeling they're going to be more Indiana fans and Miami fans in the stadium next Monday night.
All right, so for Miami to win, what has to happen? For Indiana to win, I think they just played their Indiana style of football, and they beat teams by 30. That's what they do.
Yeah, no. Well, it's going to come down to Carson Beck. I mean, I know that's like an obvious answer, okay? But I think Miami is going to put pressure on Fernando Mendoza. But as we have seen, that young man is just poised in the pocket. And I think that when you also look at, you know, 2 quarterbacks, you know, I trust Fernando Mendoza. I don't trust Carson Beck, and I know what he did against Ole Miss. But if you look at the previous 2 games against Texas A&M and Ohio State, let's just be honest with each other here. The defense led that charge. Mm-hmm. So I you know, if Ole Miss's defense was kind of up to par, maybe that game goes a little bit different than what it did in the Fiesta Bowl. But you know, this is one of those situations where Carson Beck's going to have to come out and throw for 250, and he's going to have to throw for 2 touchdowns and not 2 interceptions. Like if they're going to have a chance to win this game, I sat there in Atlanta on Friday night and I watched Indiana demoralize Oregon. For the 2nd straight year, Oregon gets just ballooned in the CFP. And so looking at this one, I think it's going to be more of a fight in this one in the trenches. I'm excited about that. But at the same time, I just trust the subtle quarterback from Indiana who just turns into a silent assassin when he gets on the field. And I don't think fans will be able to judge that. Like we had real quick, we had a media night day before the Peach Bowl. And man, he's just a happy-go-lucky kid. He's kind of goofy, but at the same time, like he knows what he's talking about. Like this is an upstanding dude. And once he gets on the field, man, it's like it's like you talked about his parents or something. I mean, he just takes it out on you. So I'm excited to see what I get to see in Monday night in Miami. But at the end of the day, like, I still don't trust Carson Beck. So they're going to have a turnover or 2, maybe even a pick 6 like they had against Ohio State, I think, if they're going to try to beat Indiana.
Trey, I know you watch a lot of college football. How much did you know about Mendoza before he got to Indiana, his time before?
The crazy part is, like, I watched him like numerous times last year, but that was mainly because, even the past 2 years, let's be honest, he even mentioned it too. He was a part of the last Pac-12 After Dark game, and he played Dante Moore, which was fascinating to me. It was UCLA versus Cal game, and so I watched some of his stuff. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert, just like anybody else around the country is going to. They can't say that. Yeah, man, we really watched Fernando Mendoza. But everything lines up for this. I mean, the guy lived 1 mile away from Hard Rock Stadium where they're going to play the game on Monday night. His dad played high school basketball with Mario Cristobal. I promise you that's going to be a thing this week. Why didn't he end up at Miami type of situation? So the storylines kind of write themselves, but it is, man, it's this young man is really taking the country by storm, and I'm all for it, man. It's a really neat story. And by the way, he's got a brother that might be even better than he is that will be starting next year. So this one's fascinating to me.
Trey, I'm looking at these last few Heisman Trophy winners, and from Joe Burrow on, most of these guys have been transfers, right? Caleb Williams was already great before, but he transfers, wins. Jaden Daniels wins. Travis Hunter, obviously kind of a different situation, transfers. Fernando Mendoza. The world we live in is transfer quarterbacks seem to be the way to work, and I don't know if I like that idea.
No, this is fascinating is a word that I like to use because it feels as though college head coaches are under the gun so much about winning right now that they don't want to take the time to develop a quarterback. What's the conversation been around Sam Leavitt for the last 2 days? It was LSU, it was Tennessee, it was Kiffin flying into Knoxville to meet with Sam Leavitt before he got on a plane to Miami. At the same time, brother, Tennessee's got 2 5-star quarterbacks out of the high school ranks sitting on the bench. So it's like, wait a minute. You telling me you can't develop these guys and go win potentially with 5 stars on the bench that you're paying, a combined $4 million, every season for? Like, it just, we have grown accustomed now to this portal thing, man, and the quick fix. And I think that is going to be a very big problem in the years to come because you have so many coaches relying on this. I'm not saying it's wrong. Don't get it confused with how I'm trying to phrase this. But man, you think talk about a gamble. You're going to go out and spend $5-6 million on a quarterback. Okay, well, you're putting your rear end on the line when you do that. Like if this doesn't work out for Sam Leavitt, or it doesn't work out for Brendan Sorsby at Texas Tech, the tough conversations are going to have to be had. And I think that, when you're willing to risk that type of money, the boosters are looking at it. I've said this from day one with NIL, and I've spoken with many high dollar boosters about this. The return on investment for them is seeing their team raise a trophy at the end of the season. If you're not doing that, what are you really getting out of maybe the $3 to $4 million that you helped get a quarterback there? Like, we're in such a different era compared to when Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban were arguing back and forth 5.5 years ago. Like, if you think about that day compared to where we are now, it is amazing to see what this sport has turned into. And I'm not saying it's all for the better, but I am saying that, brother, we've got quarterbacks that are deciding to transfer and not start their NFL clock. And I think, to me, that stands out the most. Like, if Ty Simpson wanted to, he could go make $6.5 million next year, and he would make more money in 1 year than Jackson Dart made this past season as the quarterback for the New York Giants. Think about that for a minute. So that to me just goes to show you how far we've come in the sport, but also at the same time how reckless things can get.
Wait a second. I thought there was a house settlement. I thought there was a salary cap. I thought this, does anybody, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, I thought they were only supposed to spend this amount and you're paying everybody on the roster. Like, how does the math work? How does the math?
None of it works, man. None of it works. There's no guidance. There's no rules. The CSC wants to act as if they are some big governing body that's going to implicate, some schools or have these rules in place that are going to keep everybody in line. I got news for you. It's not happening. You have got multimedia rights companies out there like Learfield, PlayFi, I could go on and on, that are, I'm not going to say funnel because that's not the right word, but let's just say they're helping these schools pay for these athletes by finding different ways to pay for the rights compared to what they're paying for the school. So that would be like ESPN coming in and saying, okay, well, we're going to buy the rights for Texas A&M. But at the same time, we're going to go also buy the rights, the media rights for Marcel Reed. And then we're going to pay Marcel Reed an additional $2.5 million. Well, guess what? That's where all this third-party money is coming from. None of these schools are fearing the CSC right now, because if that was the case, you wouldn't see some of these deals taking place, like just point blank, period. And so can that change? Absolutely, it can. I think when you saw the CSC release a statement on Friday saying, hey, we're going to be watching these backdoor deals and whatnot, like, I think that's something to me that is like, okay, here's where maybe they are trying to change this up and have more guidance. But dude, when quarterbacks are signing $5-6 million deals, that's not coming out of their rev share, because if it was, you're only going to have $8 million to spend on the rest of your roster. So, yeah, man, welcome to the new era of college athletics where nothing has changed.
Trey, great stuff as always, brother. I appreciate your time.
My man, have a great week. Appreciate it, dude.
Trey Wallace, Outkick on the Bumpy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break, do an open segment before we get into a little more basketball talk. If you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. What sets them apart is the 9 CFPs, the CFA, the CPA, all on staff. They take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas. More than an outdoor lifestyle brand, its products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas maroon and gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, hey, Dad, you look pretty good today. From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family. And we're back. Hey, Justin, what were you saying?
Go ahead.
You want to talk bad about people?
No, never.
We're here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I say that with a lot of passion. So listening to what Trey Wallace said there a minute ago, that like the Tennessee situation, I find that interesting. They got a couple 5-stars on campus. They're also recruiting, quarterbacks to maybe be their guy because there's such a short window and you're judged by making the playoffs or not, right? And I'm thinking to myself, look, I don't know what their approach is. I don't know what other. I just know the approach here at A&M. It seems to be that Coach Elko lays out a plan for you, right? Whatever position we're talking about. I'm sure Brady Hart's got a plan. Like, hey, this is what we see for you this year. This is how we see it next year, right? For whatever position it may be, some of the young linebackers. Here's how we see you developing. I think it is different when you understand your path and then everything that they've laid out makes sense and is actually happening, as opposed to, you could probably start your second year. You could probably start by and I don't know if that's how other schools do it. I just know that he's got a plan for these guys and he expresses that to the players. And that, to me, I believe, kind of Heisman poses some of the transfer portal things. It's still going to happen, right? Kids have people in their ears. But I think the Coach Elko way is a smart way in today's world where nothing is guaranteed with these players. Nothing is guaranteed with these programs. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to the great Mark French next on TexAgs Live. My man looks clean. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Like sometimes, like I'm gonna be honest with you, when I wore a suit all the time at work, I didn't like it. But sometimes I see like my friends who have real jobs in suits, and I'm like, kind of miss rocking the suit. Mark French, what's up, buddy?
Hey, David. So good to be with you. It's been too long. Happy to catch up here a little bit, and I think you look just fine today.
Well, I appreciate you, man. So, how is it watching Buckyball? You know, you were a semi-product of the Buzz system. It's evolved into a new product for sure. Looks different than anything we saw in the last regime. What do you think about Buckyball so far?
It's fun, right? I think part of being a basketball fan is the ability to enjoy and understand multiple different styles of play. It is sometimes I do get a little jealous. These guys have the ultimate green light, and I'm like, man, that would have been fun. Anyways, it's been great. I'm super excited. I think he's so young. It's a younger coaching staff, and Bucky in particular, right? It's just fun to you just feel the energy, right? And even like the clip from the Auburn game last week where he was on the plane and don't be a millisecond late, he said, about the Oklahoma game and the students showing up, and I think he just gets it, and it's definitely a different style. And I think both can be successful, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it's so different though. I want you to explain the difference maybe from a defensive standpoint, because Bucky's teams do play defense. It's just a different, not the same kind of defense. I'll just say that. It's more of a in your face, I'm going to press you for 94 feet.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And so whereas maybe Buzz's was we want to force corner threes because those are the lowest percentage shot in college, right? Bucky's just no, we're just going to leave it all out there. We're going to go challenge you 94 feet. And it's just different philosophies. Both can work, but it's really fun to watch, right? From a product perspective, especially at a football school, you got to have an exciting brand of basketball to sell to the fans and the students. And it's a blast to watch. But I think conditioning is something that I can't imagine. I know Darby and I are really close, and I know the team's done a really good job of being able to sustain that pressure throughout games. Sometimes it's we want to press on defense, but maybe we want to be a little bit slower on offense. I mean, this thing is go, go, go all the time. And so it's very impressive, and it's fun to watch, right? I've gotten more texts, and especially since conference play started, man, this is different. This is fun.
Talking to Mark French here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, so all these guys are new to us in a way, right? Even if you've been watching this year, we're still trying to learn their stories. But I like how some of these stories are developing in real time to where we maybe had some thoughts of who the alpha dog would be, or who this, we thought Mackenzie Mbako was going to be a big part of it. And what we've seen is some people develop. And Pop Isaacs, even though I had high expectations for him, his kind of journey, I've really enjoyed watching where he started to where he is right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It takes a certain level of maturity, right? And I think that's why we always say mature teams win in March. And I'd even go as far to say mature teams win in conference play more than younger teams. And I think Pop is an interesting situation how they've kind of fused him back in, coming off the injury, and really just as much as it's about playing time, it's also about confidence and himself getting his feet under him. And so he's key, man. I tell you what, we got, even with Mbaku out, we got 5 other guys in double figures. We're averaging over 20 assists per game, which is incredible. The way we share the ball, the free flowing nature of it. And I think because of the way Buckyball is constructed, it allows you to maybe be down a guy and you don't feel it quite as much as if you were trying to grind out games and everything be perfect, like some teams have. And so it's certainly a huge loss. He's an NBA talent, right? And so we never want to see that happen. And hopefully, we can get him back next year. But we still have 5 guys in double figures. Ryland's been great. Pop certainly is a big piece to this as we get deeper into conference play. And that 2 or 3 game road stretch we have coming up, guard play is going to have to be good. But Rashawn, Ruben, Marcus, everybody, Jakari, it's a joint effort, and it's just a blast to watch. And I think we got to continue to develop, though, right? Those storylines you were talking about, the good teams, right? There's layers to every season. And what we got to see happen is, just like we're seeing the Pop story develop, we got to have other guys, whether it's Zach or some of these other guys, just continue to develop throughout the season, so that, as conference tournament comes and NCAA tournament potentially, you want guys peaking at the right time.
Speaking of Zach, I mean, he was huge in this past game against Oklahoma, hitting the big threes. Just what have you seen from him? Because I feel like he's not a name that pops up every time he's on the floor, but when he pops, it certainly shines.
Yeah, it's kind of like you want those guys, though, that, he can strike a little fear, like when there are other teams doing a scouting report, like he's getting talked about, because if he pops and it hits that game, it can swing the outcome one way or another. And so I think he's another guy, he's averaging 13 minutes a game, something like that, but 40% from three. He's still rebounding a little bit. I think that's his thing at 6'11", 7 foot, whatever he is, continuing to rebound even when, maybe he isn't scoring as much. That's how he's going to earn more PT. And, on the defensive side of the ball, being active. But, yeah, I mean, overall, like, he's a guy that is on a scouting report that, opposing teams are talking about. And he's a guy that can swing a game one way or another. And so within conference play, we need him to have some of these 10, 15-point games where he's hitting 3 or 4 threes.
Talking to Mark French here on TexAgs Live. Let's do another one, because I like talking about these stories of guys that, I had like preconceived notions beforehand. Ali Deba, he is a guy who recently has really started coming on.
Yeah, Ali's an interesting one. Again, I think he's 6'5". Is he from Sweden? I'm still getting caught up on all the roster stuff. Yeah. He's from Sweden, right?
Yeah.
And I think, again, like, it's about the depth. When you're going to play this style of play, you're going to have guys that's going to ebb and flow. And I think he's a guy that is an athlete that we can put out there, and it just flows. And I think part of all this is, like, you saw Ruben catch onto it quick, Rylan catch onto it quick. Some of these other guys it's unlearning previous styles of play and previous coaches that they had to come in here and be like, oh, okay, it's okay to let it fly, or we're pressing all game. And I think as we've gotten deeper into this, particularly post SMU, I think that, everyone is fully adaptive now to the style and the expectation. And it's cool to see it coming together.
Talking to Mark French here on TexAgs Live. All right, Mark, let's talk about that depth too, though, because now we've gone from the collection of players, now from individual players to the collection. This bench is outscoring teams routinely. Now, it's going to be a different challenge with Tennessee. Better team, and they're also extremely deep. But the fact that so many guys are contributing in a game, it's not just like this guy popping here. It's like you're going to get production from your bench on this team.
Yeah, I think part of it is, right, the expectation. One of the secrets to life is knowing what the expectation is. And I think from a player's standpoint, knowing you're going to play, knowing you're going to get in the game, knowing that the bench is going to be deeper than 8 or 9, like a lot of these programs are, especially in today's, age. It's everyone's getting ready, in pregame shoot around or the day of, everyone's locked in. It's not, oh, I'm not going to play today, so let's go out the night before, or let's, stay up playing Xbox or something. I mean, these guys are locked in, and if you're going to be a part of it, there's just a certain psychology to it. And I think that's what you're seeing is all these guys know it's like, hey man, I'm going to get some run. I got to make the most of it.
How much fun is it to watch Ruben Dominguez hit those threes?
Oh my goodness. You have no idea. It's so fun. Just zero filter, right? And, I think the important part about Ruben is he's going to signify the changing of the guard of A&M basketball in terms of, the style of play. And he's really going to be Bucky's first guy that we're, 5-10 years from now, but, oh yeah, you remember Ruben Dominguez, David? And it's going to be that guy that kind of hopefully shifted the program into this buckyball era in terms of the shooting piece of it in particular. And so that's what's exciting about him is just it's emblematic of, all right, we're a shooting program now. And if you think about Florida last year, Bama over the last couple of years, Auburn certainly under Pearl Senior, I guess I should say now, they could shoot the ball, right? And they were up and down, high scoring. I think we're top 5 in the country in scoring right now. We're averaging, 94 a game. it's fun and it's different, and I think fans need to enjoy it. We need to go out and support them. Obviously, 2 big road games coming up this week, the actual UT and the fake UT, and then we'll have a 2-game home stretch where we need to get both of those with State and Carolina. So it's really, really exciting times, and I think guys like Ruben are kind of the ilk that Bucky is going to continue to look for. He wants high percentage shooters, high volume even. I think one of the biggest things is we look at percentage sometimes, but having guys that are even willing to shoot at 10 threes a game, that takes a certain type of player. And so I've just really enjoyed it.
Mark, I kind of looked at the schedule this year and I'm like, all right, look, if they're going to have a chance for the tournament, it's going to happen later on, even though they got a tough schedule here in the middle. But like, it takes time for a team to kind of become a team and develop, especially with a new system. That being said, they're 3-0 to start. They got a long road to make this tournament. I recognize that, but are you surprised by them being 3-0 this so far? Considering going to Auburn's very difficult. Winning that LSU game was tough. Oklahoma was tough.
Yeah, I think I would say I've been mildly surprised, but I wouldn't say it's some huge surprise. I think if you look at Bucky's track record, this guy's a winner, and you just take everything out of it and just say, all right, what's this guy done? What's he about? And he's a winner. And the Auburn game in particular, caught my attention. What an ending. I was listening to some of your segment last week, and that was the one, right? Like I kind of was hopeful to beat LSU. Oklahoma at home, Porter, maybe that thing hasn't taken off quite like he had imagined it would. And I think the Auburn game in particular surprised me. I wish we could have snagged the SMU game, because imagine right now if we have that SMU game, which is revisionist history. But I think Oklahoma State and UCF early on in the season, I think that's a team figuring it out. So I don't really put a ton of stock into that. I think the Florida State game, certainly when it felt like things started to pivot, and then we rode that all the way until now to some extent, with SMU being the outlier. But look, man, if we can split these next 2 and then take care of business against State and Carolina, you're looking at, would that be 6-1 heading into that at Georgia, at Bama versus Florida stretch. And so, what a place to be that would be. I think we received top 25 votes this week. How many people would have thought that after that UCF game? And so it just goes to show you that this coaching staff didn't panic. They're sticking to, their wits about what they believe, and the players are coming around to truly believe in it. And so, I'm really fired up for tonight in particular.
If they win tonight too, it doesn't guarantee anything, right? But I don't know. I think it just changes the perception of the way the country looks at what Bucky's doing.
No, exactly. If you talk about going and winning at Auburn, at Tennessee, in 2 of the first 4 games, you want to get the country talking, go win tonight. But we're receiving top 25 votes. I think we've righted the ship a lot. I think we also have opportunities, right? It's exciting to go play these big games, man. Everybody looks at the schedule and is like, oh, this is tough. I'm like, man, this is what you're here to do. And even a team like Vandy, I think Vandy's top 10 or 15. I've been somewhat plugged out, but I'm getting back into the flow of things. I think Vandy's top 10 or 15. I think we play at Arkansas later in the year. That'll be a big one. Got Kentucky to cap it off. At home, I believe. So, there's some awesome opportunities and some primetime matchups, TV games, and let's just embrace it. Let's go have fun, go win some games. And, high level, David, I was thinking about this. Think about this program, and sometimes people maybe don't give it enough credit. And you think about since early 2000s, Gillespie, he was successful. Turgeon, Kennedy, Buzz, Bucky. This is a high floor program. Rarely do we've had a few years where it goes down, and but that's everyone, particularly in basketball. It's different than football, right? But I think if you look, you can have a lot of success here. You can go to multiple Sweet 16s. Everything you need is right here. There's nothing that, Auburn or Alabama has with Oates now that we don't have. And it's all about the coach, right? It's similar to football. It's like, what was LSU before Saban? Right? What was Alabama before that? They had a long, there were some tough years. And similar in a basketball vein, look, this is a place you can win. 20 to 25 games a year. You can be in the tournament every year, and you can go make Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final Four runs. Everything can be there in place. It's just about getting the right guy to push it over the top. And so I think the 4 that preceded Bucky established an incredible floor, and people need to talk about that more, in my opinion. And I think I'm hopeful Bucky can take this thing over the top, and me and you are in some Final Four, press conference one day, smiling ear to ear. So.
Hey, let's close out with this. Old school, new school. Like, you've got Bucky that we've been talking about all morning long, and you got Rick Barnes, who A&M has faced many times at different spots, right? Just, you're talking about a team that's going to be a little bit more physical and a team that's going to, try to outwork you. So how does tonight play out considering the styles?
Yeah, it's very different. Tennessee was always one of the most physical games we had. And even when you turn on the tape the day after, it's like, man, they are physical, whether it's, hitting the boards or even from the opening tip. I mean, it's just, they're going to get after you. They're going to be disciplined. But I'm hopeful. I think sometimes, it's harder to adapt to our style if you haven't played it than it is maybe to that style. And so I'm hopeful that we can kind of get up and down the floor, put some pressure on them, just make them play a style similar to these other games that maybe they're not used to playing. And when their guys see us just, freely taking these shots and playing loose, I think it's powerful. And last thing, I hope we wear the new Old Sarge dunking outfit or the logo on the pregame warmups. That is the coolest thing that the athletic department has done. And I think someone sent me one of my buddies, Blake Dorsett, sent me a video of the apparel shop in the arena on Saturday, and it was just, the line was crazy. And I hope whether it's basketball, football, baseball, all the sports, we need to be incorporating that. And I'd even love a headgear mascot, Old Sarge, on the sidelines at some point. I think it is one of the coolest things that the athletic department could do, and I think I'll make a prediction, that'll be the most bought merch at Aggie Land Outfitters for the next 12 months if they release it the right way.
Well, hopefully at CC Creations. Mark, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you very soon, all right?
All right, guys. Great to catch up.
Get you on the show here again soon. That's Mark French. Always love chatting with Mark. We go back and forth on text often during games. It's good to catch up with my buddy. We'll hit a break, come back. We'll find out what's on TexAgs today. Before that, though, if your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, you need to check out the Association of Former Students that bring Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. We're talking about all the fun ones, too, from Aggie Rain Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tens of thousands of guests, and there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of those attendees. And they offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. And this includes title sponsorship, naming, on-site presence, activation, recognition, social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie Magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, choose a partner with the organization that's been supporting the Aggie Network for over 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to tell you about Fratella Italian Cafe. If anyone knows anything about Italian food, it's me, Billy Lucci. And Fratella has the best Italian food in BCS. Located at 3901 South Texas Avenue, Fratella is known for their handmade pasta dishes and feature lasagna, beef cannelloni, chicken parmesan, chicken fettuccine alfredo, a couple of my favorites, just a big old bowl of plain old spaghetti and some manicotti. Really recommend the manicotti. That's my go-to. And don't walk out of there without trying the fresh, piping hot breadsticks and the homemade in-house cheesecake, which is incredible. It's great for dining in, catering, gift cards, and even shipping, which they do nationwide. Fratella's is Aggie-owned and operated, and it's an official restaurant partner of Texas A&M Athletics. I'll see you there.
We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is hour number 3 of the show. And we're going to find out what's on TexAgs today. I don't know why I say it like that. TexAgs today. Justin, what do you got there at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center?
Yeah, well, on TexAgs today, as you like to say it, I would say the content it's flowing. It's popping like a Cinemark on a Friday night with some popcorn. Like it's so much going on. So this is the reminder.
A Cinemark with some popcorn? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, it's like popping like popcorn on a Cinemark.
Did you write
Friday.
this out, or this is a line people use?
I put Cinemark on Friday, and I was like, I'm gonna try to roll and throw in popcorn because I just feel like it's how I feel when I'm on TexAgs.
You feel like a popcorn.
Yeah, just like there's so much and it's constant, and it's great. So this is the reminder to become a TexAgs premium subscriber, gain full access to content here on TexAgs because you could get some transfer portal tracker news.
Yep.
We saw CJ Mims, TJ Smith come to A&M yesterday. So you got to keep up with that news. Cooper yesterday at Social Center said that there was 4.3 million views on the tracker. Now we're up to 4.5. So there's a lot of eyeballs going there. So you guys should too. There's also men's hoops tonight in Knoxville. We got Olin's pregame story, Tom Schubert's scouting report, 5 thoughts from Luke Evangelist, and then also postgame, we'll have OB write a little postgame rap, and Luke will have some stuff tomorrow morning. And then we'll end with the new Luchador podcast with the Billy Lucci, Sir David Nuño.
Bronny was on that one.
Bronny was also on it, discussing transfer portal, how the Aggie roster stands. So a lot of good stuff on TexAgs.
So right now, I can't tell you exactly what it says, but Bronny did put an update at 10:07 this morning about a particular player that's hot in the portal. Okay, so just know that you'd be getting that information. Some of the stuff, not one of our players, somebody that's entered the portal that's a big name that maybe A&M's having a conversation with. So what you should do is go to texags.com and become a premium subscriber. Anyway, a couple of things I want to talk about throughout the show. It's Tap Dance Central here on the show. A couple of things that we're going to do. In the next segment, I don't want to start it now because I'll get going and then I'll and this is probably worth more than 3 minutes. But people need to stop. I kind of talked about it yesterday. When I get frustrated, I either get mad or I kind of put my hands to my face. People have to stop labeling things all the time. Not everything needs a freaking label. Not everything needs to be like, the SEC is dead. Kirby Smart's not the best coach ever anymore. Not that it's Nick Saban, but everybody is Hot Sports Take Jake, whoever he is, needs to not always have a hot sports take. And am I having a hot sports take about hot sports take Jake? I think I am. But I want you guys to, and I'm not going to do it here, even though I feel like I'm doing it here. I'm not going to do it here. My thing is, we don't have to already, greatest Heisman Trophy campaign ever. Indiana, the greatest season ever. Maybe. But I think what people don't do enough of is research. How many times have you been talking to your buddy at the bar or at the library? I'm more of a library guy, Justin. I don't know about you. All right? Or at the cafecito shop. And he's like, oh, dude, it's the greatest season in the history, greatest player ever, whatever. They've got to come out with these labels of, without considering, sports is a long time. Without considering the 2000s, this is 25 years. Greatest Heisman campaign ever. Did you watch Reggie Bush? There are other players, there's other I'm trying to do this now without doing what I was going to talk about, because I'll get into the Signetti and something I heard Joe Klatt say, but just come with facts. Come with research. If you're going to have a take, do a little bit of research about that topic and expand. If you only know because you watch YouTube, you don't know. True. And I will tell you this. I don't find myself an expert of the old school Bill Russell basketball days. Okay? What do you want, 9 championships? Whatever it was, right? 11 championships. Thank you for reminding me. I do know that he should be considered one of the greatest of all time, but I don't really have a strong opinion on him and Wilt Chamberlain because I didn't watch them.
Right.
I believe to have a real opinion,
feel like you got to watch them and almost have to watch them real time. I'm not saying you can't have an opinion on Earl Campbell, on Michael Jordan. I'm not saying you can't have an opinion on it. I'm just saying you have to understand the moment in time to really be able to talk about the value of a player or a coach. It's not, stats at the end of the day is what we use to kind of differentiate ourselves. And it's got to be a big part of how you do analysis. It's got to be a huge part of it. But it's not just the stats. It's about what it did to the marketplace, what it did to sports, what it did to the league. How did the league evolve? Right? Steph Curry, I believe, has made I need to stop NBA comparisons, but Steph Curry has probably changed the league more than LeBron has. I don't think that makes him a better player than LeBron, but I'm saying, like, those are all parts. So when we get back, we're going to talk about something that Joel Klatt said. And I'm not even saying I disagree with him. I'm just saying, slow down. Let's research. Let's just kind of have some conversation about this. Not everything is black and white. When it comes to sports, there's got to be gray because there's thousands and thousands of players that have been great. So we'll do that on the other side. I want to talk Cignetti. I want to talk Kirby. I want to talk their place in history. That's coming up on TexAgs Live. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. Nick, can you explain to the audience what a Nuñoism is?
It is, but it isn't. Yeah, I picked up on that pattern.
Day one.
Day one. You do that. Well, they played good, but they didn't. Well, he shot the ball good, but he also didn't.
And it doesn't mean I'm wrong, by the way.
No, it makes sense.
But it doesn't mean I'm right.
Exactly.
Bam. See what I did there? I didn't even plan to do that. Anyway, I'm not saying that Joel Klatt is wrong, but I'm not saying he's right. Nuñoism for the day.
Yeah.
This is what he had to say. It leads me to this idea that Kirby Smart, this is Joel Klatt on some show. That's a good way to source where he did it. He did it on a show. Is the best coach in college football. Well, no, he's not. He hasn't even played in a Final Four in the last 3 years with good teams, by the way, and in some cases, based on the composite, the most talented team. So Curt Cignetti is doing more than less than anybody. I kind of agree with him at this point. And he's doing it on a stage and at a pace right now that is fairly unprecedented. He did it at Indiana. Guys, Indiana is likely to win the national championship, and that blows my mind. It just does. He's not wrong. Why am I yelling? He's not wrong. You can't say he's right yet, though. And my point is, one season or two does not define a career. I think what you can say is that Cignetti, maybe for 2 years, but definitely this year, is outcoaching everybody in college football. But when we talk about who the best coach is, or the best this, or the best that, there are multiple ways to look at it. I think you can look at it in layers as, well, it doesn't, how many national championships does Kirby have? He has 2?
2.
Okay. Kirby Smart's got 2 national championships. Trivia question. How many does Curt Cignetti have?
Currently 0.
Okay. So if Curt Cignetti loses on Monday, is he still the best coach in college football? I would say he is. I mean, this year, he did the best job.
This year, yes, he's still.
I would still say, even if he loses to Mario Cristobal on Monday, he still had the best year. See, I'm arguing with myself, but that's my point. If Kirby Smart starts going 7-5 and he's not Larry Coker. Do you know who Larry Coker is? You don't have to Google it. Larry Coker was the coach of the University of Miami. He did win a championship, and a lot of people say he's one of the worst to win a national championship until Ed Ogeron won a national championship with LSU, right? To me, you've got to look at things as in Kirby Smart. This was supposed to be a down year. Everybody thought Georgia was down this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they lost their first playoff game. They won the SEC championship game. Look at that. They won the SEC. You want to argue that the SEC is down and it doesn't matter as much? Okay, well, he keeps doing it in a very competitive SEC. What Cignetti has done, I believe he's on the fast track to be the guy, the Saban of college football. But he's got to do it first. And I use Patrick Mahomes as an example often. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in college in NFL. Maybe he didn't have the best year, but because of his history, he's the best. He can't be Brady yet, because Brady did it 3 different times in his career. He did the early Patriots run, he did another Patriots run, and then he did a Tampa Bay run. We've got to let history play out before we start arguing about who. It's because people don't have content, or they're trying to make content. And like I said earlier, I'm not saying he's if you were to ask me what coach in the country would I call tomorrow to build a program, it might be Cignetti.
It might be, actually.
It might be Kirby Smart, though.
Mm-hmm.
It might be Mike Elko. He's got to do it. He's got to do what Cignetti's doing for the conversation to hit, right? But again, and Nick, I forget, were you working on the show? No, you weren't. We've brought it up before. The whole SEC Mike David fight.
Yes, I was.
You were working on the show at that point?
That was one of my first interviews I produced with you. I was like, are they all like this?
Yeah. And you were like, maybe I didn't take the right job. And you still say that, but for different reasons. Anyway, you were supposed to agree there. You're supposed to say, no, David, this is the best job I've ever had. But that whole thing was based on 1 year. That particular year, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we've rehashed it before, but that particular year, Arkansas beat A&M, and I believe they won 9 games and went to the bowl in Tampa, whatever it was called then. And they had a better year. And SEC Mike was saying, Sam Pittman's a better coach than Jimbo Fisher. Nick, you can fact check me, or Justin, you can. I believe Jimbo beat him 4 out of 5 times. Does that sound about right?
Yep. Yeah, they only lost that one year.
If not 3 out of 4. Okay? They lost once. Sam Pittman had a really good year. That's why I made the argument Sam Pittman had a better year than Jimbo. Because that's the year they went 8-4, right? The year that he lost to Sam Pittman, I think they went 8-4 that year. So not the 5-7 year. I think they beat him that year. They went 5-7, believe it or not. So, and if I'm wrong, you can fact check me. But when you talk about better, well, like right now, I would say that Cignetti is better than Ryan Day. But guess what? Ryan Day's got a national championship, has been doing it a lot longer at this level. So I'd be willing to listen to an argument. I would rather have Cignetti as my head coach than Ryan Day. But I understand the argument. When it was Pittman versus Jimbo, it was more about history. Well, Jimbo beat him the year prior, lost that year. Okay, he's having a better year. Who's got a national championship? That does have to be a part of the conversation. Like, you want to talk about the worst coaches of all time. If you want to say Ed Orgeron is one of the worst coaches of all time, I don't think he is, but you want to say he's one of the worst of all time, he's got a national championship. So that tie goes to the runner, and the runner has the national championship. Now, if you were going to make a case for Cignetti, again, I still think he's got to win on Monday. But you want to make a case for him. He inherited one of the worst programs. Were they 3-9 the year before he got there? He got to the CFP in year 1. He's probably going to win the national championship in year 2. I mean, the immediate coaching impact will go down in history as one of the best coaching jobs we have ever seen. Ever. Because of the speed and what he inherited. Kirby Smart inherited a program that had done it before, that had gotten really close but hadn't done anything till he got, not anything, but Mark Richt was a team that just knocked on the door often, but they never were able to open the door. But yeah, Kirby hasn't made it to the semifinals in the last 3 years, I get that. He has lost, was it back-to-back Sugar Bowls in the last couple of years with, one of the most talented rosters in the country. I get it. I think what we're seeing, though, is that we may have to redefine the way we look at who the best coach is based on this era of college football. And this era of college football means more parity. And so before, the guys that got to spend the most money against teams that didn't spend the most money and were really good at their job were the best coaches. I don't know what Indiana's payroll is. I can't imagine it's the same as some of the other programs. But now we're seeing maybe better football coaching than necessarily management of talent, because I don't think anybody's going to argue that I think Indiana probably has less talent than Miami has on the field. I don't know what the 5-star or 4-star comparison is. So anyway, that's how I look at things. Like, sometimes arguments are just to fill air, and maybe that's what I'm doing here. But I think when it comes, and it depends who it comes from, because Joel Klatt, I think he's a good broadcaster. I feel like he's got an anti-SEC take all the time and an anti-A&M take, so I don't really listen to him much, but I think he's a good communicator, if you will. I just don't agree with him. But where I will agree with him is Cignetti is having the most incredible 2-year run for a coach that I've ever seen. And when I say that, I know that Saban had a couple of, because of where they came from. That's the difference in this conversation, is where they came from. Who in the SEC would be, I guess, Vandy, right? Who else could be this level of story that we'd be because Miami winning feels out of left field, but it's Miami. They've won. They spend money.
And like you said, David, you just referenced the talent composite, right? 247 has Miami ranked at 15th. They have Indiana all the way down at 72. So big disparity there in the talent composite, quote unquote.
which is why, folks, and I'll make this about A&M. And by the way, A&M's got a lot of talent. What is A&M on that?
They are 8th.
8th. Okay, A&M's got a lot of talent, right? And I wish they would have done much better, and they did great, but I wish they would have finished the season stronger. But that's why when people get up in arms for not knowing college football players, hey, the transfer portal, there weren't as many big splash. There's some splashes. We just don't watch enough of other teams to really know who pops and who doesn't. Talk to insiders from that team. Maybe that'll be something we start doing, Nick, too, is try to get a Colorado insider to talk about the Colorado guys and get, like, some of these bigger names and talk to, I've already had a Miami guy on, maybe get a Bama guy on to talk about what Horton looked like and what we can expect. So that is something. Anyway, sorry for my ramble. I just get sick of what media has become on everybody's got to, he's better than this and he's better than that. Like, sometimes let's just let history play out, and that plays out on Monday. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And we are back. It is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Last segment of the program. If you want to text the show, we'll pick it up on the Catalyst Pure Performance text line, 979-693-1150. Closing out the show with some thoughts, we go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Justin, what do you have, sir?
I had a question that I wanted to pose, and it actually kind of fits to what we've been talking about the last hour about labeling and getting ahead of ourselves before we've seen it fully play out. And now with Cam Coleman headed to Texas, it seems like the sky is falling for a lot of people outside of the Austin area. People are saying Arch and Cam, best quarterback wide receiver duo in college. What do you think about that?
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk about something else. I don't want to talk about Texas. I don't. They might be. I don't know. I haven't. Again, talk about research. Like I don't want to have a hot sports take without doing research. What I'll say to that is there's too much attention on what certain programs do from our fan base, and I don't want to give those programs the attention that their audience craves from us, right? So maybe they are. How about whoever, is it Mendoza Jr., whatever Fernando's little brother's name is, and whoever their top, I don't know. Like, what I care about is what A&M is going to look like and what these next 8 to 9 months, what kind of football team, because the whole mantra this year is about finish, right? Finishing. And they took a step in finishing better. Now, to be clear, there's only one team that ends up finishing and everybody's happy.
Right.
I am sure that the Ole Miss fans are probably happy with the way the year ended, right? But like, man, one last play, right? Every team ends up the season, but you want to feel like, if you don't win it all, you want to feel like Ole Miss felt at the end. Not the way Oregon felt, right? Like you want to feel more like, and it may hurt more if you're an Ole Miss fan because you were winning, you had a chance at the very end, right? But you want to feel more like that you're, and I don't even know if they're building something because it's basically, it's just going to be different moving forward. And it may be better, but it's going to be different than the Lane era, right? You want to feel different. So like, I'm going to focus more on what I think A&M is going to do. And I know that wide receiver room looks pretty freaking salty.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There are some freshmen that I hope get some opportunities and some guys that are younger step up. Like, nobody was talking about Ashton Bethel-Roman a year ago. That guy had some highlights for you this year and some major moments. Where does he grow? Where does Terry Bussey grow? Right? Like, where does, because I know we want more from Terry. Each year we're getting a little bit more. And my goodness, he gave you a highlight that didn't count against Notre Dame that would have been epic, right? He's going to keep growing. And so I am more focused about that. They're expected to be good. Every year they're expected to be good. Just like Notre Dame is expected to be good every year, just like Ohio State's expected to be good. I think Oklahoma is not to that level expected to be good. The interesting part about it, though, is what Olin brought up in the Go Hour of how so many people are really down on Alabama, a team that A&M has to go to visit next year, right? Like Alabama, I tend to think they'll figure it out, and they won't be Saban Alabama, but they'll be not this past season Alabama, but maybe the year prior. Like, I don't know. Because none of us know how talent works out together. I do believe in the system that they're building over there. And, one can hope that finish mantra continues. And maybe it's a step further, one more step. And maybe it's 2 or 3 more steps, but hopefully it's one more step. But we don't need to focus so much on who. It's what Billy and Bronny talked about on the Luchador yesterday. And if you haven't watched it yet, you're missing out. And it's basically, it's not who you didn't get, it's who you got. And A&M got some guys. And if you don't know them, just like Google, we saw Houston Thomas with our eyes. The reviews on Ray Coney are fantastic. Tafik Byard is going to be, like Cohen Eccles, a guy that we wanted to have a couple years ago. They've got a kicker, guys. I feel like I'm doing a lot of yelling. Apologies. Isaiah Horton, if he would have just been in the portal a couple of days after the Coleman sweepstakes, that would have gone down differently, like the way the national attention about it. Anto Saka, like they got some players. So we should be excited about that. All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Tuesday. Tomorrow on the show, I know we're going to be talking about the A&M Tennessee game. That is for sure. What else are we going to talk about? We're going to have our friend Tom Schubert on the show. We're also going to have John Harris on the show. We're also going to have Pat Henry on the show. We're also going to have, we have one more. I had a good one. We're working on
Recruiting Country.
Well, yes. I don't know which person of Recruiting Country, But we're working on a coach across the street that maybe we haven't talked to. I can't confirm that just yet, but we're working on that. So that and more. Anyway, that's going to do it for the program. My thanks to Justin for doing a great job. Nick, as always, a great job. OB, Josh Pate, Katy Lee. Who else did we have today?
Trey Wallace.
Trey Wallace, yeah. And
Mark French.
Mark French and our good friend, the Open segment. Thanks so much. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you mañana.